What are your predictions? You've got so many of this correct. I do want to ask you about World War III, the end of the world, when that one's going to come. But what are your immediate predictions with this war?
I don't do specific timelines because, I mean, like I'm not actually in control of the events.
Right.
I'm just trying to figure out what the general trends are, okay? So I'll tell you the general trends.
Mm.
General trends are that the Americans and the Israelis are gonna target civilian infrastructure, water desalination plants, dams, to make life as difficult as possible for the Iranian population. Eventually, they're going to insert ground troops, special forces, small contingents. There's rumors that the 82nd Airborne Division have been activated. They might parachute some troops into Iran. But anyway, the amount of insanity that's going to happen in this war is going to be beyond our imagination. Okay, because we're like, why would you commit suicide? We're like, well, I don't know. I mean, but like, why are you committing suicide right now? Okay, so I think a lot of the insanity that's going to happen specifically will be beyond our imagination because we are not actually in the war, and the people in this war, war makes people crazy, and they develop certain hubris, they develop a certain arrogance, but they have to win this war, and like just go and say the Vietnam War, where it was entirely obvious by 1965, 1966, the war was unwinnable, but they kept on bombing and bombing and bombing until 5, 6 years later, right? And they were even thinking about using nuclear weapons. So when the military goes into war, they will do everything possible to win this war. So there's gonna be a lot of insanity going on. The American homeland will be more and more chaotic. I think at some point Trump will introduce a draft, a selective draft. Because remember, like you've been registered for the National Selective Service already, right?
I think we have to.
Yeah, yeah, right. So they have that already in place. So it's pretty easy to do the draft. So I think that's going to split the country apart. I think the National Guard will be deployed at some point. They already have this plan to deploy the National Guard to all major American cities by April. And they've been talking about this for a few months. And that's a detailed plan. Like this American invasion of Iran is it's a dumpster fire. But they actually have a concrete plan, a detailed plan for how to deploy the National Guard using the Minnesota model. Okay. I think that's going to happen,
What's
deployment of the
the
National
Minnesota
Guard.
model?
Um, just provoke as much
Oh, right.
street warfare as possible, and then you justify it by deploying the National Guard, right?
Yeah.
Because those ICE people went in looking to film conflict on social media
Mhm.
to provoke people. Um, then the midterms is something that I'm up in the air about. It seems as though Trump is intent on cheating in some way. During the State of the Union, he said that we have to pass the Save America Act, and which is like like you need voter ID. You need to make sure the elections are secure, right? Which means you have National Guard troops everywhere, which means that it's hard for people of color to want to go vote because they're clearly being intimidated. Okay, so I think the midterms will be dumpster fire. I mean it's gonna be so controversial. I also think that people will be surprised by how lame the Democrats will be in this process. The Democrats are going along with it because they believe that, well, first of all, they want this war to happen because they've been co-opted by the Israel lobby as well. But also, they think that this is our perfect opportunity to get rid of Trump, right? Because after
Mhm.
3 years of this, he's dead. Like, he's gone. I mean, and so we'll just wait. We'll just wait. We won't even worry about the midterms. We'll wait 3 years from now. When we win back in 2028, we'll go after all these guys for what they
Mhm.
did to us.
Right.
Okay, so I
It's either
sorry, go ahead.
Trump is trying to run for a third term. He's hinted at that a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah,
Miriam
yeah.
Adelson said that they want to pull more money, and also JD Vance would just be more Trump, but Trump would work through JD Vance again. He's been funded by Peter Thiel. Did you see that? There's a lot of people speculating that Iran is looking at your videos to strategize how they can win because of how much you predicted. Do you think that there's any sort of basis in that, especially the prediction of the desalination plants? I'm wondering if you think or you even conceptualize like how impactful your videos are?
I think it's actually insulting to say that the Iranians are just, watching my videos, because, all right, the entire point of game theory is that once you're in the game, the structure of the game, the nature of the rules determines how you behave. Okay, so let's do a thought experiment. Let's just say we go back in time, like back to the beginning, like 1920. Okay, and we present documentation, just millions of documents showing that, oh my God, guys, we're headed towards the Great Depression. We're headed towards World War II. The Nazis will rise. The Soviet Union will rise. Okay, and we tell them exactly how to prevent this. I guarantee you this would change nothing. Okay, this would change nothing at all. Why? Because people, when they're in a game, they're looking to maximize their outcome, and that determines the nature of the game. So basically, I made these predictions based on my understanding of the different motivations of the players and the structure of the game. You go after desalination plants because they don't have water. I mean, like water scarcity is a huge problem in the Middle East.
Yeah.
So I think it's sort of insulting to the Iranians to say like they're not capable of their own ideas.
Right.
What I'm saying is it doesn't. What I'm saying is it doesn't matter who you are. Once you're in a certain game, and these are the structure, these are the rules and incentives, then you respond accordingly to optimize the outcome. And like information from outside does not impact the way players behave,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like it's the same thing as I'm sure you play Texas Hold'em poker, right? But when you're playing a hand, do you really care what others tell you to do? If people are giving you information and their information is actually be more objective than your information, you don't care because at that point you're driven by your emotions. At that point, you're invested in your own strategy. Right. So first of all, it's absurd that people would think this, and I think it's also insulting. Also, by the way, this would put my personal safety at risk, right?
You're right.
Because the Americans are going to lose this war, and guess who's going to blame? I'm going to blame for the stupid thing, right? And like I'm just this random high school teacher in Beijing, and I am going to impact the outcome of this war.
Yeah.
But the reality is that people will want a scapegoat.